Let's talk about empathy. And you probably think you have a pretty good handle on what it is, a soft skill, right? A nice to have feeling. But what if I told you that science sees it completely differently? That it's actually a biological imperative, something hardwired into our brains for our very survival. Yeah, let's dive into that.
This quote it nails it, right? It completely reframes the whole idea. We're not talking about a passive quality here. This is an active, powerful engine for our modern world. It's not just about being nice anymore. It's about being effective, innovative, and deeply connected in an age that's changing so fast.
All right, so first things first, let's just clear up a huge misconception. Science is crystal clear on this. Empathy is way more than just some fuzzy feeling. Just look at this contrast. It's pretty stark, isn't it? On one hand, you've got the old view. Sentimental, soft, maybe optional for, good people. But then neuroscience comes along and gives it this radical upgrade. It's not a feeling. It's a neural process. It's not a soft trait. It's a form of high-level social intelligence. And it's definitely not optional. It's a biological imperative, basically written into our DNA to help us cooperate and survive.
So that brings us to the really fascinating part, the mechanics of it all. How does this even work? Well, empathy isn't just one thing happening in one little spot in your head. Oh no, it's more like a coordinated dance between several key parts of the brain. So let's meet the cast of characters.
It all kicks off with these things called mirror neurons. These are the foundation. Think about it. They're the reason that when you see someone smile, you feel that little flicker of joy yourself. They create that neural bridge between you and someone else.
Okay, so you've got that initial spark from the mirror neurons. What happens next? Well, that spark gets handed off to the anterior insula. This part of the brain is like a translator. It takes the emotion you observed and turns it into a personal, internal feeling for you. This is what creates that feeling of a truly shared experience.
But, you need someone to manage the whole operation, right? That's the job of the anterior cingulate cortex. It helps us recognize when another person is in distress, and then it regulates our own emotional response so we don't get completely overwhelmed. Then you've got this crucial layer of reason, which comes from the prefrontal cortex. You can think of this as the brain's CEO. It's what allows for perspective taking. It's how you can understand why someone feels a certain way, even if you don't personally feel that same emotion. It's a game changer. And tying this whole network together is the amygdala. This is the brain's rapid response system. It's instantly decoding signals, like a subtle frown or a shift in posture, and it tells the entire network, hey, pay attention, time to act. So, the most important thing to get here is that none of these brain regions are working alone. They're a team, a single powerful network. You've got emotional resonance, signal decoding, rational perspective taking. It all works together in concert to create this incredibly rich, complex experience we call empathy. Okay, so now that we have a handle on the how inside the brain, let's talk about the what in the real world. Because in practice, empathy actually shows up in two very distinct but related forms. On one side, you have what's called affective empathy. This is feeling with someone. It's visceral. It's that gut punch when their sadness actually makes you feel sad. Then, on the other side, there's cognitive empathy. This is more about understanding someone. It's about grasping their perspective intellectually without necessarily having to absorb their emotion. And here's the key. Both are absolutely vital.
And you see this blend everywhere once you start looking for it. A doctor, they have to use cognitive empathy to make a clear, objective diagnosis, right? But they also need that affective empathy for good bedside manner. Think about a parent. They might use affective empathy to comfort a crying child, but then they switch to cognitive empathy to offer some real guidance. In leadership, in life, mastering empathy is really about learning how to blend both. So we've covered the biology, we've covered the different types, but why does this matter so much right now? Why is this topic just exploding in importance? Why is empathy becoming a defining skill for our future?
Just think about this one year, 2040. Now, that's not some far-off sci-fi future, is it? For most of us, that's well within our career span. And as the world of work is fundamentally changing, empathy is shifting from that nice-to-have column squarely into the must-have category.
And here's the really simple reason why. As artificial intelligence gets better and better at handling all the routine, transactional, data-driven stuff, our uniquely human advantage is going to be found in these areas: complex problem-solving, creativity,
emotional intelligence. All of these things are fundamentally powered by empathy. They're powered by the ability to truly understand and connect with other human beings.
This all leads us to a final and I think really powerful way to think about all this. It's a perspective shift that kind of changes everything. Here it is. Empathy isn't just an emotional add-on. It's infrastructure. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. It's not some decoration we add to our lives. It is the fundamental infrastructure that allows our entire society to function, to innovate, and to thrive. And just like any critical infrastructure, roads, power grids, when it breaks down, the consequences are severe. Without this empathy infrastructure, things just clog up. Trust and cooperation, which are basically the lubricants of any functioning group, they just grind to a halt. Communication breaks down, conflicts escalate, and progress stalls. It's the hidden network that makes everything else possible.
And that brings us to the final provocative thought of this whole explainer. Think about it. We invest trillions in roads, bridges, and digital networks to enable the flow of goods and data. What would happen? What could we achieve if we invested in the systems, the training, and the cultural norms that enable the flow of human understanding and cooperation? The science shows us that empathy is maybe humanity's most incredible renewable resource. The more you use it, the more of it there is. So the only real question left is, what are we going to build with it?